gala of all our thoughts, AOT. Today, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Louis Baskin of the Institute of Attitude Modification. Got several questions I want to ask him. And accompanying Dr. Baskin is Betty. Betty works with Dr. Baskin, and she's going to be very instrumental in answering a lot of these questions as well, commenting on them. How are you today, Dr. Baskin?
Delightfully magnificent.
How are you?
Delightfully magnificent.
Excellent. Okay. Both of you look very relaxed. I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you. We're talking to several religious leaders, and we're putting the videos up on AOT. My questions are about 4 questions, and the first question is, do you think that if various religious organizations got together for the good of the community, how often should they get together? Or, let me rephrase that again. Do you think it would be ideal for religious organizations to get together for the good of the community?
I think it would be good if they got together. However, I think that getting together would require more than just meeting physically together. True togetherness, it goes far beyond meeting at the same place, same address, at the same hour. It may still be in the same room and still not be together. So if they're going to be together, they have to have the ability to interact and be on one accord. Now that's together, on one accord for the same intent and purpose. But if each one have their own agenda, though they're in the same room, they're still not together.
Interesting. When you say a different agenda,
as an example, if you and I was sitting down, 3 of us having a conversation, if I have a prejudiced idea about the topic, any one of us has a prejudiced idea, then I would be listening to what you say through the screen of that idea. So that idea that you're offering would be contaminated by my prejudiced idea. So that we still would not be able to communicate, though we speak the same language. If either one of us had a prejudiced idea through which we are listening, there still could be no communication, though we're on. And of course, communication itself suggests oneness, communication, community.
that would be a definite reason for them to get together, to iron this out if they're going to get together for the good of the community, to come to some type of resolve for a common cause. Would you say?
See, language is necessary. Words are necessary. But words of themselves are simply pointers. There's a meaning, there is a level of oneness beyond words. So words are useful as a vehicle of communication, but unless there is a spiritual connection beyond the words, then you're having true oneness.
Any comments on that, Betty?
Yes. When we say getting together, what we're really saying is that if these religious leaders are coming together to promote their religion or to promote their rituals in their church, or how you act as a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim. See, this is not coming together at all. We come together based on principles, because when you bring in labels, then you're limiting it. And many people that we so-called think that we're assisting, you're really not assisting them at all, because we're bringing in a state of consciousness that is divisive, and a house divided against itself must fall. And how is it divided? Because it's based on this is religion is the right one, that religion is the right one, and they're all just labels. But the real principle of it is that we are one, that one expressed as this and as that. So when we come together with that in mind, with that oneness in mind, that it is the state of consciousness that will bring about a change in the society, not the words that we say. Because we come within higher state of consciousness that God is, or whatever they call him, spirit, God, or consciousness. It's not the words anyway. It's the state of consciousness. And as one comes together with that state of consciousness, then it is that goes out, and you'll see changes taking place. Not because of what I say, or what a Christian say, or Muslim say, or Jew say, but we as instruments are being used by that invisible something within. And it is that goes out as a ripple effect, and we don't even see it. A good example of that I saw in Florida when I was taking a ride on the bike, and as I went around a certain corner, I saw these beautiful flowers, but they let out a beautiful aroma. A beautiful aroma. They did nothing but just sit there, but there was something going out that everyone that passed through took a swift of that beautiful aroma. And so it is with us. As you keep your mind stayed in that higher level of consciousness, there's something within us that will go out and ooze out from us on an invisible level, and it is that will bring about a change in the world.
All right, that sounds great.
So as what we're saying in essence, getting together is a start. Working together is progress. But being as one, that's success. That's the ultimate. So many people have gotten together, even countries get together and have peace treaties. Well, that peace treaty lasts until someone fires a gun next time. Have wars, and wars last until they run out of bullets. So all these here make-believe, that's humanhood, making believe. And in most cases, it's getting together, of which these religious organizations speak, they're making believe. Make-believe. And make-believe ultimately cannot work because it's not in harmony with principle. It's not in harmony with truth. Though they're together, they're still not together. I don't know if I'm clear in that statement or not, but
I think you are, because I'm just thinking about a number of the other organizations that I visited, and one of the things that I hear in some is a come to my way.
Yes.
Type of thing, a come to my way. And understand what initiated this series of questions was the number of common things that people have in common, number of common issues that parents have, and adults, period. People have things that they question or concerns, and sometimes they could probably get a better answer from you or from a Christian organization or a different kind of Christian organization, or perhaps even a Hare Krishna or an atheist speak. I've always said something like, it's a good thing that there are many spiritual advisors out there, because you can hear the same thing from ABC different people, and only person who letter F makes sense.
Yes.
And they get it.
That's true, because it's not the organization and it's not the label. The point is that oneness is expressed, as you say, it can be expressed as a Hare Krishna, as a Muslim, as a Jew, but it's always that invisible something. And as all of us keep our minds stayed on that presence within, that kingdom of God as it's referred to, or there's something within us, and let it lead us and guide us, and we'll say the right thing, and that is the thing that will bring minds together, and that is the thing that will go out and transform the world. The world can only be transformed as consciousness is transformed. And Lewis mentioned, in other words, the people are just not aware of what they're doing. They really think that they're doing the best thing by promoting their religion, but they're really promoting a concept that they have picked up or learned in school or when they were studying the Bible, and they're just taking this one concept and going on and thinking that this is going to bring about a solution. But it's not. It's not the concepts at all. It's what we don't know. It's that invisible something. There is no label for it. If you can give it a name, that's not it. But you come together with that higher state of consciousness, it is that's going to bring about the change.
Come together without a goal, without an
Yes.
intent, and learn to be still and listen.
Yes.
Don't come together with a prepared text. Listen in the moment. And listening in the moment, that quiet voice from within will speak. And it might use my voice. It might use your voice or his voice or her voice. But it's not something that I had rehearsed.
Right.
If I had rehearsed it already to say or to do, then that's not it. That voice will speak. It's always speaking. It's always speaking. But humanhood, mind is so full of thoughts that they can't hear. In other words, the line is busy or the mailbox is full. And when the mailbox is full, there are no message transmitted. The line is busy, you can't hear. So Emerson says, get your bloated nothingness out of the way. Get that ego out of the way, that false self, or what you think you already know. See, that's the barrier.
Yes.
That's the barrier that seemingly is impenetrable.
Yes, and what you're saying too is that you have to have an empty container to put something. You can't fill a container that's already full. So if it's already full with my concepts and my rituals and my labels and my way, it's really not my way or your way. We're strictly instruments, as he said earlier. And what are instruments? They are used by the one that created them. That invisible substance is used in these instruments. But just like the instruments in the drawer, you know, if you're going to use a fork, the fork doesn't say, well, you have to need to use to eat salad. No, you use the fork for whatever way you want to use it. So that spirit within us uses us wherever we're needed according to its will and its plan, its spiritual unfoldment.
You know, this is a free world. This is definitely a free country. I was talking with a couple of friends a few summers ago about a taste of spirituality. Right? The Taste of Chicago. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the taste of spirituality because you can find a number of different people there. And in my neighborhood, there's so many different types of religious groups. Well, in Chicago, period, you see the rainbow of different religious groups. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Still, there are a number of people who have assumptions about the character of a person because of the religious practice that they have and such. What do you think about, even though people are free to go into churches and visit, what do you think about a concept like the taste, but on education, spirituality, which would be free, just an idea for people to have a Q&A.
And this
do you think that people would be open to something like that, or do you think that they would rather be biased and fearful?
Well, I think that, first of all, we wouldn't go out worrying about what people say. If this idea came from within you, I would just go on out there and present it, knowing that it's not the words anyway. It's going to be the state of consciousness. Yes, I could go into any church or any group, and I'm sure a person who's well-grounded knows that wherever he is, that's holy ground, because it's where we are in consciousness. Wherever I stand, there's holy ground. So it's okay to go into any church. It doesn't mean you have to label them as right or wrong, because you know when you really understand spirituality, there is no right or wrong. It's just states and stages of consciousness unfolding. And so certainly we're like a puzzle. When you cut up a puzzle, all the pieces are not going to be the same shape, the same color, or the same size. But they're going to fit somewhere in the scheme of the whole picture. And that's okay. That's showing the variety and the omnipresence and of that invisible substance. And it may be expressed, yes, and this a bit here and a bit there and a bit there, but no one thinks he has it all. And no one religious group is it. It is all it is that invisible substance, and it is everywhere present.
Let's use that gathering that you mentioned and visualize a flower garden. A flower garden is that presence of the multiple religions. In that flower garden, we have the roses, the tulips, the lilacs, many other flowers. Again, those flowers represent the different religions. Every flower have a different fragrance, have a different color, different shape. But beyond the fragrance, the color, and the shape, there is one substance, one essence expressing as each one of them. And that essence is life itself. Life shows forth in a multitude and infinite varieties of forms. So it's still one. That one, whether you call it God, call it life, call it love, again, the word or the name is not important, but it's a recognition of the truth of it, the truth of the isness of it. Every one of those flowers, though they are unique in their appearances, are of the same essence as the other flowers, all of them. And if any person, going back to the religious analogy, anyone, no matter what religion or which one of those flowers, recognize that oneness, as many as that are there from any multiple religions, recognize that oneness, they're the ones who are together.
Yes.
Only those who recognize the oneness, no matter what label they may came in as or under. But if they come in as a rose or a tulip or a lilac, but irregardless of how they appear, they're all expressing one, life, in a multitude of forms and fragrances. There's only one.
Interesting. I've got another question I want to ask you. It's, if you could get, if a group, such a group, I don't know what group, could get the major religions to come together and work on a common cause or common causes, what would you suggest as some of the three, 1 to 5 major common causes they could come together for? And let's use a micro location like Chicago, for example. What do you think they could come together and help to resolve? If you could get the major religions to come together in this city.
Yeah, the main thing they would want that would bring about the solution to anything is to introduce people to their true spiritual identity.
And beyond that, you mean humanly the concerns, the so-called problems that humanity is facing? Is that what you're referring to? The so-called
whatever
problems?
you think. But
Well,
what Betty just suggested was something has been something on my mind because of the biasness and the prejudice that a lot of people feel when they look at different religious groups. And we're all human.
That's right.
You know, we all need to eat. We need to take a shower. You know, they're concerned about their kids. You want to have an income, and
well,
you know, the rituals, the practices may be different.
Yeah.
But and people gossip. I think that they gossip too. Everyone gossips a little bit, have a little concern, a little worry. But just to know that that man, regardless of what kind of hat he's wearing, is the same, is a man, has concerns.
Yeah. And that is what I'm saying. When you can get in touch with your true spiritual identity, then it doesn't matter what label or what suit he wears. The point is, he's one with us. And when we can see in him the same thing that we can see in us and see in everything in the universe, then that's the oneness of which Lewis spoke of earlier when he mentioned that in the flower garden, that life force is invisible. There's something within that. There's something within those flowers that is invisible, but it's omnipresent. It's present every place. And it's all one. But the oneness is what we don't see. And we're too busy humanly looking at what we can see. We're judging by appearances. So that's why we should judge not from appearances. It is what you don't see. That's what we're coming together.
Exactly. That was the word that was illuminated by my appearances. See, being contaminated by the senses. See, the senses is what causes people to start judging what the senses tell. But beyond the appearance, if you can see And when I use the word see this time, I'm not talking about with the physical eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the word see like understand. Oh, not, oh, I see.
Right.
That's the see I'm talking about. Oh, I see. Now I understand. I was blind, but now I see. In other words, at one time I didn't understand, but now I see. And we can see beyond the appearances, understand the oneness of it all. Then they are indeed together.
And I like to say this seeing comes from, it's revealing, it's expanding awareness of what always has been, but the person was not aware of it, you see. So even when they're not aware, we're still not going to label them as evil or bad or the devil. They're just at that level of vibration or that level of understanding that they just don't see the whole picture yet, you see. It's just like if you had a cube, and a cube was sitting here in front of us. If you didn't know it was a cube, some people would say, a child may say, that's a block, a square, because he learned that a square is 4 corners. But he's not looking at it from the whole picture. It's a cube. But a cube seen only from one angle can appear to be a square. So we don't judge by appearances, because appearances are very deceptive. As we mentioned in our class on Sunday, it's like a railroad track. You're standing at one point and you're looking far ahead. It seems like the tracks are coming together. But obviously you know that they're not coming together. When you know the truth, you're not concerned about if the train's going to run off the track later on. You just sit there and relax. So when we know our true identity, that invisible something within me is the invisible something within everything and everyone in the universe, then it doesn't matter what level of consciousness the person is on at the moment, because he too is consciously unfolding just like when we are.
And the adage of ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
On that note, my last question is, based on everything you've just told me, everything you shared with us, if you were asked to present that in an art form, what kind of art form would it be?
One of the art forms would be the bouquet of flowers, the variety of animals, the variety in soil, the variety in creation itself, the variety in people. This, you would really understand that what is causing all of these things to unfold degree by degree, whether it's a baby bird or a squirrel or a plant or an animal or what, is always something. And that something would be that question mark, because we can't give that something a name, because we really humanly cannot give it a name. We can call it whatever we want, but depending on what part of the world we're in, we may use that same word and say it completely different. If I'm speaking in Spanish or Latin or French or English, but so it's not in the word. But I would just whatever it is in creation, we know that something is within there.
I would see the art form have multiple animal characters all together, all smiling at each other.
Ah.
Well, they recognize when they look at another, I'm but looking at myself. Because there is really one self. So multiple animals, all with a smile on their face. The lions lying down with the lambs.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
It's in their flower garden. They're all right there at peace with each other, even though they're...
So they're recognizing their oneness.
Well, thank you both very much. You two make a very dynamic couple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
We're one.
All right.